By the way, these act as shelters as well as your ships. So if you're caught out in the elements, find a shelter. Is the story better or more involved? So the original playthrough that I have, which is about 85 hours, which is what I played in 2020. Jesus, when was that? I think it was 2024, like July or August of 2024. There was like 80 hours of storyline with that character. Like, it was pure storyline. There is around 100 hours if you there's a lot of stuff that I didn't do because I had to move on to other games. But there is absolutely a narrative. So that first character that I played, I just did storyline. That's all I did for 85 hours of gameplay. There's a whole live stream series when I was first trying out No Man's Sky for the first time, and it was all just storyline. So there is absolutely a driving narrative behind everything. Matter of fact, I don't know if it's in our log right now, but like, yeah, so it's broken down into primary missions versus secondary missions. The primary missions are going to be like your main storyline, and then secondary missions are all sorts of little things that you're going to find along the way. So the autophage was the one I didn't do, Lady Atari, which is why I'm saying I stopped at around 85 hours because I had to go. I'm a variety streamer, so I have other things I have to do. So I didn't keep play. I played No Man's Sky for 6 weeks or something. I didn't do the autophage stuff. And then there was a whole quest line with like building a settlement that I didn't do. So I would argue there's about 100 hours of storyline that you can pursue, but it's not done in the way. Like, I had somebody comment on a TikTok yesterday, I really wish this game was like Mass Effect storytelling. And I was like, I don't. I don't want Mass Effect storytelling in this game. I want No Man's Sky to be No Man's Sky. I want Mass Effect to be Mass Effect. I want Cyberpunk to be Cyberpunk. I want Starfield to be Starfield. Stop trying to make all games the same. This game has a really unique storytelling method. You're going to talk to NPCs. They're going to give you stories. Some of it's environmental storytelling, where you're going to click on objects like we just did. We're getting narratives. We're getting environmental storytelling right now. We're clicking on objects. We're getting broken up communications. There's no voiceovers. We're getting broken up communications that we read, and that tells us a story of someone who was here before and left parts behind. And then as we continue to go through, we're going to find out who that person was. We're going to be introduced to other characters along the way, and we're going to find out who those people are. And it's all done through environmental storytelling. And eventually you're going to get up to the space station in the anomaly, and you're going to meet NPCs who you talk to. Like, there's definitely an overarching narrative. But if you're someone who craves the Mass Effect cyberpunk style of Bethesda style of like the NPCs are fully fleshed out, fully voiced, romance options and everything else, it's not that type of game. This is, like Lady Atari says, this is very much a found lore environmental storytelling game. So you just have to accept that because it's not going to be that branching narrative dialogue where you're, getting to choose 5 different options when you talk to an NPC. Because I've seen a lot of people like, well, I need that for me to be able to play the game. And it's like, well, then, unfortunately, I think that you might want to go play a game that has that, because this game doesn't do that type of. This isn't a narrative. This is not a narrative RPG. This is a game with procedural generation, millions of planets to explore. There's lots of base building. Now with Voyagers, we've got ship building and all sorts of other stuff. It's just environment. It's breadcrumbs. Yeah, it's breadcrumbs leading you on to the next step. By the way, that's going to be that'll be a good video to clip out for YouTube. What is No Man's Sky storytelling like? And that's at 42 minutes. Because, like the breadcrumbs we've been getting, we don't know why we're here. We woke up on a strange planet, and there's this, we've been finding these broken up communications that are telling us little bits and pieces, but that's it. All right, test the analysis visor to highlight points of interest and analyze flora, fauna, or mineral center units. So there's our ship. Now what's really interesting is when we can go over here and like scan critters. You just earned units. Units are things you'll use later. The big thing is, as a new player, once you get the analysis mode, obviously they want you to go back to your starship. That's your #1 objective. However, I can also say, this is when you're going to start scanning everything you see. If it's something that can be scanned, scan it, because you're going to get XP, or in this case, you're going to get these units. This will also tell you exactly what you're going to get from every given node, and if it has like secondary things, you'll be able to harvest the secondary things from that. So always be scanning everything. Like if it's a plant, like that right there said unidentified plant. Where did it go? There it is. So that tells me what that plant has to offer. It gives me carbon. This is more ferrite dust. There's also going to be bonus things for like, you know, once this is later on stuff. I'm just explaining this as we go back to the ship. You'll start getting into missions where if you analyze a certain amount of things on a certain planet, you'll get bonuses. So once you get the visor, it's really worthwhile. Plus, it helps you get money in the early stages because you get credits or units every time you're analyzing things. But the big thing is we're being told to get back to the ship, so... And those red dots, by the way, those are animals, but they're animals we haven't yet identified. The green ones, once they go green, they're animals that I have. There we go. Big thing is to get back to the ship right now. I'm so happy they stuck me on an ice planet to start. That's so cool. It's like my favorite biome. Although, I will say, my second favorite is like ocean biomes now that they've added. Actually, you know, I might have to rephrase that, because now that they've added the with the Aquarius expedition and all the new underwater things we can do, that's a hard decision actually between underwater biomes and ice biomes. How about this? A snow planet that has an ocean on it. There we go. Like the perfect combination of two different things. Because the underwater biomes are really amazing looking now with the...
Ground protection fully. Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Alright. Yeah, it's totally random where you get stuck at the beginning. Oh, that's an unidentified plant. I would say it is unique, Bardicus, in the sense that because of what they are building with Light No Fire, that's a pretty ingenious move on their part to have that game running on the same tech as this game. So it allows them, I don't know of any other game studio that has ever done it like this, where they are literally taking the technology they are developing for the new game and using it to enhance their old game. And the reason I think you've never seen any other company doing that is because most companies focus on, well, we're just going to build a new game, or we're going to build a sequel. It's going to use the same engine as the first game, but with improvements. So most of the time you'll see companies, you know, building things that way. But in this case, they're building a completely different game with technology that is driving the enhancements to this game, which is, again, extremely unique. There was a plant right here. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, exactly. We don't want our games to be the same. It's really frustrating to me when I see people who say things like, "Oh, No Man's Sky would be perfect if they would just add this element from this other game," and it's like, no, we don't want it to do that. We want No Man's Sky to be its own thing. All right, use the inventory to repair the item. We have the hermetic seal that we picked up.
Component repaired. Technology repaired.
All right, so the launch thrusters have been fixed. The system is highly damaged and requires dihydrogen jelly and pure ferrite to repair. In order to do that, I'm going to have to create a portable refiner to refine items down into the components that I need to fuel the ship, which is now we're getting into the crafting survival aspect of the game. Thanks for the resub over on Twitch, Chaos Meister. 11 months in a row, almost a year. I know, man. Time does fly. By the way, I didn't catch that 7 minutes ago, Chaos Meister. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, I think it's this is also in a very important moment for me to stop really quick and address something that just popped up in chat. Because Max Real said, I love how you say that while playing the update that adds Starfield-style shipbuilding. It is similar in scope to what Starfield has, but it is not the same. It is different in a lot of distinct ways. The building portion of it might be similar, but how you get the parts is completely different to Starfield. Starfield's shipbuilding is completely unique. It has its own system. The base building in Starfield is completely different from the base building in this game. And I think it's very important because I'm a big Starfield fan. I have like 600 hours in that game. I have more hours in Starfield than I have in No Man's Sky, and I can't wait for the next DLC for Starfield. I think what the creation kit is doing for Starfield is pretty amazing. The amount of creativity that people are allowed to put into Starfield with their own mods and stuff is amazing. That game does amazing things. No Man's Sky does amazing things. Elite Dangerous does amazing things in its own way. You know, Star Citizen is doing amazing things in its own way. There's lots of room for lots of different science fiction games to do lots of different things, and all of these companies to have fun and create things that their unique audience are looking for. It's very important that we celebrate innovation across all of these companies, as opposed to try and fit all those square pegs into the same round holes. All right, I need to find dihydrogen to create dihydrogen jelly. Like there's some right there. These crystals is what we're looking for. Exactly, Belnoth. Dude, I feel like sometimes the ARPG crowd are some of the worst. Especially when it comes from the people who are like so far down the path of exile path, they've forgotten that lots of other ARPGs exist, and that lots of people have lots of fun in lots of different ARPGs. It gets really tiring defending like Last Epoch and Diablo 4 and the casual ARPGs, and it's like they're all fun games. Stop being a gatekeeper. Gatekeeping is the worst thing ever, and I will fight it tooth and nail. And when I see gatekeeping show up in my chat, I will always shut it down. We don't play that game here. We accept all games equally. Starfield sucks! Diablo 4 sucks! Blizzard's a shitty company! Bethesda's a shitty company! Go back to Reddit. Don't want you here. Alright, we should have enough dehydrated jelly now. Jelly, which we've just done. Correct, the hardcore players no longer play for fun. They hate anyone who plays differently. It's the same for most games. You just have to ignore those players and focus on having fun in the video game. Access the inventory and repair items. Okay. We now need to create... We need more ferrite dust. So if you remember earlier, we scanned these bigger rocks. Notice that the bigger rocks, when I mine them now, it didn't just give me ferrite dust, it also gave me sodium, because once you scan something, if it has a secondary component, like that one says, it says ferrite dust and sodium now that I've scanned it. So it's always beneficial to scan things before you harvest them so that you can get the secondary components out of them as well. Now, you're not going to get your scanner at the beginning of the game. You have to go through the steps first to get to the scanner. But it's an important point. By the way, this is a reminder, everybody, don't forget drops are on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate the support. Always make sure to watch the multi-streams wherever you want. But in the case of a drops campaign, I would also urge you to make sure you're watching on Twitch specifically so that you can get your drops for this game. Hang on, I'm getting confused with the button presses here. There we go. Oh, I need to get carbon.
Thermal protection falling.
It says use RB after total power loss. Interesting. I need to get some carbon, apparently.
Technology recharge.
Okay, I'm gonna need to get some more of that. We're gonna focus on the carbon really quick. I need lots of stuff. Alright, we should have enough to do. Construct a portable refiner, craft a metal plating. Advanced materials require pure ferrite, which is what ferrite dust is refined into. So we need to craft a portable refiner. We need to get our build menu up. We need a metal plating and oxygen. We have both of those because I've already been farming oxygen along the way. We're going to place this down. I got button presses are different. I'm so used to Dune Awakening, and recently we've been playing so much Enshrouded. I'm like, wait, what buttons do what? There we go. Technology deployed on the planet's surface from the build menu may be recovered by approaching and holding RS. This places the technology in your inventory. Dismantling technology offers a convenient way for the user to transport and redeploy this technology at a location of their choosing. Redeploying portable technology does not incur additional costs. You only need to construct the item once, but don't forget where your deployed technology is located. So when we leave here, we're going to want to take that with us. But right now, we need to inspect it. We need to fuel it first, so we need some sort of fuel, in this case carbon, which I have some. Put that in. Now I need to actually input my ferrite dust. And here I can tell it to begin. We're just going to push that button. We're going to let it process. We're going to grab everything out of here. We're going to take that, put it to my exosuit, take that. By the way, the pick that up. Take it with us, get back into the ship. Pure Dog says, usually watch on YouTube, but here today for the drops. I appreciate you watching wherever you want, but obviously make sure you get your drops today, guys. Sully Shania says, once this game really opens up and you realize how much there is to do, it's mind-blowing. Yeah, that's the question I was answering earlier. Like, someone was asking, like, in terms of the narrative, I think Chaos Meister was asking, like, is there a story? Yes, there is. About 100 hours-ish of just story. But beyond that, there are hundreds of hours of things to do, because there's all the base building, and now that they've expanded things with Worlds Part 1 and Worlds Part 2, we can do underwater base building now, and the submarines and everything else. And now with Voyagers dropping, we've now added ship building, multiplayer ship contracts. It's a whole, like, it's now added a third new level of things to do that go way beyond all the stuff that's been added over the past years, you know. So yeah, this is a game that is, I would look at this and say this is like any live service game you've ever played before. If you ever play a live service game, you'll be familiar with it. So like Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: The Old Republic, World of Warcraft. We're playing a lot of Dune Awakening recently. We're playing a lot of Enshrouded as well. All of these games offer the opportunity to play by yourself or with friends in a place where you can literally live in the world and spend hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, doing lots of cool shit. So it's kind of like this situation where you just have to figure out what worlds you want to like spend your free time in. Like, I love Dune, so I'm having a lot of fun in Dune Awakening. I also love Enshrouded. We've been getting back into Enshrouded recently. I like this game. I'm playing Lord of the Rings Online on Sunday nights with my brother and sister-in-law and their kids. I still have I don't play a lot of Star Wars: The Republic these days, but I'll dip in from time to time. But these games are meant to be played for hundreds of hours. You have to like the gameplay loop, though, to get that kind of enjoyment out of it. Because some games, like New World as an example, New World Eternum, I got my 100 hours out of it and I moved on. I had a great time with the storyline, but once I did the storyline, I was like, I don't really feel like I want to spend that kind of time in this world. Whereas I really enjoy the aesthetic of this game and the soundtrack. It's super chill, like once you get later into the game, and like you can explore space, and you can start doing star system to star system, and then you get into like, you get your frigate. Which, by the way, the frigate is cool, but now that we're going to be able to build ships with this update, I don't know how that's going to work with the frigate, because it's like that's changing the way people play the game with the way you can build your own ship now, because now you don't need a frigate. But I mean, frigates do their own thing, so it's kind of like you kind of do still want your frigate, right? Because frigates offer the fleet, and the fleet is its own thing with like missions and all that other stuff. So it's like that's. Yeah, like Burlek, exactly. I've played this game so differently at different times in the past decade, excuse me. Yeah, because there's so many things to do. You can literally log on and be like, this week I'm going to focus on building a base. This week I'm going to go do fleet missions. This week I'm going to go do deep water exploration. This week I'm going to do fishing. This week I'm going to do cooking. This week I'm going to build a new ship. This week I'm going to go find a living ship. This week, I'm going to go get that solar ship I've been after. This week, I'm going to blah.